Hi there, and welcome to Preparing for Mediation Best Practices for Inhouse Counsel. So, quickly, by way of background, I'm Erin Gleason Alvarez, and I am a mediator, arbitrator, and negotiation consultant. I was formerly a litigator and formerly served as in-house counsel. So, here are our objectives for the discussion today. First, it's to understand how to determine the best time for mediation. We'll consider different strategies for convincing counterparties to mediate, appreciate best practices for mediator selection, review the essential elements of a pre-mediation negotiation plan, and then finally design a strategy for pre-mediation convening calls. So why are we doing this anyway, right? So what's so great about mediation? First, and maybe most importantly, it's that you have complete control over the manner in which the negotiation process is constructed. There are no hard and fast rules for mediation. It's completely different from litigation or from arbitration in terms of the manner in which you set up communication processes and the way that you work with your counterparties and with the mediator. The other benefit is that parties have complete control over the manner in which the dispute is settled, right? So the decision to settle and the terms of that settlement are are yours to decide upon instead of that decision being made by a court or by an arbitrator. And then lastly, parties have a chance to select the best person who can support them in their negotiations in a mediation, right? And that's the mediator. So these three things, I think, perhaps the list is a bit longer, but for our purposes today, these are really the three primary benefits about getting to the mediation table and why you want to try to do that. So let's talk about when is the best time to mediate. Now, there are generally three ways that parties find themselves at a mediation, right? So either you've mutually agreed to mediate, you and your counterparty have had a discussion, and regardless of the underlying contract or whether litigation has been filed yet or not, you've mutually agreed together that mediation is the right path. Another way is that actually your contract does require that mediation be leveraged. So to the extent a dispute arises and the contract calls for either negotiation as a first step, and maybe that didn't work out, and then you had a mediation and then arbitration or litigation after that, plenty of contracts have a mediation provision or at least a step in them at this point. The last way is that either a court or even in some instances, the arbitral institution mandates that the parties pursue mediation. So there are several benefits to mediating before any papers are filed. And probably the most obvious and the biggest benefit is avoiding sort of perils of the litigation process. And this is everything from the expenses involved to people's time and energy, right? So we all know that regardless of whether the dispute is a commercial one or employment or construction or so forth, the energy that these kind of processes can take out of people is pretty substantial. Now, the other thing to think about is that mediation really is one of the only dispute resolution processes that has the potential to either repair or heal or maintain the relationship between the parties. So to the extent that communications have had a breakdown, or there has been some other fallout in the relationship between the parties, mediation really is a forum where the mediator can help parties to examine that and to fix it on an ongoing basis. And then lastly, and this can be, particularly important for many parties, is the confidentiality of the process. And particularly when we're contrasting it to a public forum like going to litigation, being able to have negotiations and a conversation in confidence with your counterparties and the mediator is very attractive.